100% American made. And darn proud of it. The Charlie Kirk Show.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I'm just checking out your emails. Erica was sending me some emails. And by the way, there are some about you, Mikey. I'm going to get to those in just a second.
No.
Look at this. So this is Sarah. She says, thanks for keeping up the show with everything you all have faced in the last 3 weeks. We're here watching and supporting you. Keep up with sharing the news. Andrew, you do a great job. Thank you. And love Mikey and Blake, too.
Wow.
And then Mikey McCoy. I totally enjoy Mikey McCoy. This is from Carla. He has an infectious laugh and Christian wisdom.
Thank you, Carla.
I am very familiar with his dad, having lived in Ventura County for 37 years before I relocated. So that's pretty great. Mikey McCoy. This is from Sharon. I think the ladies like you, Mikey. I get a lot of the
Sharons.
Yeah, the Sharons, the Carlas, and the
Carlas.
Sarahs. Is he old enough to drink?
No.
Mikey looks like he's about 18. Wow, you are awesome.
I just turned 15. Actually,
yeah, no,
so.
Mikey is old enough to drink, although I don't think you do. Do you?
I am old enough to drink. I do not drink.
Yeah, exactly. Is he old enough to drink? Yes. Mikey looks like he's about 18. Wow, you are all awesome. Thanks for continuing with Charlie's show. It's so cool to see the show rating so high on Apple Podcasts. I agree. Thank you guys so much. We're going to be back with Tyler in just 1 second. All right, welcome back to the Charlie Kirk Show, radio stations across the country. I'm Andrew Calvert, executive producer of this fine show, joined by Mikey McCoy. You don't have like a show title, but you were Charlie's chief of staff. You traveled with him all over.
Him the real McCoy.
The real McCoy.
I like it.
Yes, and Blake Neff, one of our producers here, our not-so-secret weapon, Blake Neff. So Tyler O'Neill, senior editor of the Daily Signal, as well as author of Making Hate Pay. This Making Hate Pay is the piece that I really want to dive into. Blake was actually the one who originally clued me in on this. Basically, it's this big racket where it's a lot of direct mail. They send it to elderly people that maybe came of age during a different time, and they fleece them. Blake, please chime in on that.
No,
and then
it's like, I think, Tyler can explain this, but they basically run this, scare operation. They'll send you a letter, and they're like, the number of hate groups in America has grown by 50% in the last 2 years.
Hate is on the rise.
And it's old. They could go after older liberals who are terrified the Holocaust is going to happen again. It's around every corner. And they just whip them up into a frenzy to make money. But I think you can explain more, Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler, am I accurate in saying that they have just under $1 billion in reserves?
They have over $700 million in their endowment. They have millions of dollars in Cayman Island accounts offshore, which we still don't have an answer as to why a nonprofit has Cayman Island accounts. But essentially the business model is we position ourselves as the premier force monitoring and combating hate in America. And then we constantly go to our donors and say, look, hate is increasing. Here's why everyone to the right of Adolf Hitler, everyone to the right of Joseph Stalin is essentially Adolf Hitler. And so you have this situation where the SPLC puts you on this map that's not clear how you can ever get off of the map. And then they go to their donors.
It's a great
point. By
point.
the way, their donors are from the George McGovern campaign. So these are the donors, the Democrats who wanted things to be further left back in the 1970s. That's where the first big tranche of donors, or actually it was 68. 72. Sorry, the big tranche of donors is from there. And then it's all the people since then. And now they've positioned themselves. They're working very closely with, we don't have entire proof, but they have a lot of disturbing ties to Antifa and the people on the ground who have been engaging in these violent riots. And so what you have with the Southern Poverty Law Center is this interesting mix of these old liberals who kind of pass the torch to the new, on-the-ground, violent leftists.
Yep.
And they have been making the SPLC there's a big battle at the SPLC. Last year, they were accused of union busting. And to answer your original question, why I wrote the book was partially because of the FRC shooting, partially because in 2019 we had a racial discrimination and sexual harassment scandal where the founder of the SPLC, the co-founder, Morris Dees, was fired. The president resigned. It was a huge deal. Jocelyn Benson, by the way, the Secretary of State for Michigan, stepped down from the board at this time. Nice. And the SPLC went through this scandal. We saw a couple of reports in the legacy media, but mostly it was crickets. And then a couple months later, you had the new president of the SPLC coming out comparing the SPLC to the Underground Railroad. And I said, no, we are not going to allow the SPLC to bury this scandal.
Yeah.
And I want people to know how untrustworthy this group is.
Absolutely. Well, and this is what bothers me, Blake, is how they borrow from an actually noble past, and they keep donning the robes of an admirable generation gone by, and you know, you could have disagreements even with that. I certainly do, but like at least there was an acknowledgement that hey, there was legitimately Klan members that were, you know, hostile to blacks in the South. I mean, I'm sure there still are, but I mean, it was actually a thing that probably needed to be addressed, right? And the fact that they showed a little bit of impartiality, playing it both ways, shows that there was some good, at least some good sense, some old school values that were in the organization. That is way gone. And I'm actually, you know, we've got about a minute left, but I'm going to keep going in the break just a little bit in the stream. But what I'm curious about is how do we actually go after this group with some teeth, right? They live in Alabama, or they're based in Alabama. It sounds like you just laid out a bunch of predicates for legitimate investigations, maybe by the Alabama Attorney General's office, or maybe but Harmeet Dillon needs to get involved. But also they have ties to PayPal and other corporations. Am I right? So this is, I mean, we can't use like RICO, right? We went through that last night because, you know, whether they're working with Antifa or not, one of the things that I've learned because of Blake is that the original RICO statutes were designed to go after the mafia. So there's not like inciting a riot is part of the statute. So anyways, we're going to go in the break, more with Tyler O'Neill on SPLC for a few more minutes. Don't go anywhere.